This is a joint briefing, Maquis Masters Roundtable, Patreon channel, Florida Maquis. If you are here, you are at the $20 and $50 levels, respectively. Thank you very much for your patience. I don't like missing a day in a video, but yesterday was kind of an outlier due to the event that happened in Jacksonville Landing, the shooting. At this level, we now take the training and we show these things occurring in real time in the mainstream media. I've been working on something for a while on this, and I wanted to put it out in a way that didn't seem like I was pushing an agenda. Because it wouldn't matter who the person was. We have seen in the last 2 years a striking series of events when you look beyond what's been on the front page with the current leader. During the election cycle, there were 2 or 3 major points that the supporters of the current administrator made that they believed would be the case if Ms. Clinton were to take office. And all 3 of those things that they said would take place have actually taken place under this guy, which is really weird if you think about it. That if you say, okay, if we elect ABC person over here instead of XYZ person over here, these 3 bad things are going to happen, specific bad things, and then those 3 things happen over here when you elect XYZ person. One of the big ones was that there was the threat that Miss Clinton was going to get us into a war because there was going to be all of this interventionism overseas. Well, we've seen that with the person that they said wouldn't. They made the allegation that if Miss Clinton were to get into office, there would be this massive push to grab guns. And there would be all these false flag shootings and all this kind of stuff. And they made that allegation against the last administrator as well. But now we've seen a much bigger push to grab guns now than we saw in the last 8 years. And then, of course, and it's something that I have tried to not talk about because it's so disgusting, it's the pedophilia angle. Where there were all these Pizzagate crazy conspiracy nonsense garbage stories about that. But there's 3 different individuals now, maybe 4, in the administration that have been connected to this. The vice president has an associate back in Indiana that was connected to this. Alexander Acosta, the current Secretary of Labor, was the prosecutor that gave Epstein, the world's worst serial pedophile, a great deal. Epstein himself was a member of Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Gorsuch, the guy on the Supreme Court, ruled some years back that pedophiles didn't have to register when they moved from one state to the other. If those 4 things had occurred under Miss Clinton, there would be no end. It's just very strange to see the exact correlation of things that were said by the supporter of this guy now occurring under him as a reason for voting for him. It's just psychologically, the chances of this are insane if it weren't a plan. It's really strange. And, we have talked about Maslow a lot in training. And one thing that I'm seeing is that to remain in the camp behind this guy, at any level here, when you look at the things that are required, in their mind, if you take him personally out of the equation, the entire triangle falls apart. morality, problem solving. Excuse me, morality, problem solving, yeah. Acceptance of facts. You take him out of their equation at the self-actualization level, and that goes away. Achievement. Respect by others. Confidence at the esteem level. Take that out, take him out, and he goes away, and that goes away for them. A lot of their friendships and family are tied into this. Here's where it gets really scary. There's a belief in the support structure of him that if you took him away, that there would be a lack of employment, a lack of resources, that there would be a complete implosion of our society, which then would directly lead to the physiological loss. This is your prepper stuff down here. So he's tied in psychologically at every level now through Maslow. And it's frightening. It's absolutely terrifying to see. This is why it's something that you think, well, these were all crazy people. Not true. Most, and when you do studies into this, most people that join cults or become members of cults aren't insane. They're just unaware of what they're getting into. And what I'm seeing now, and you can take issue with this if you want. It's a personal expression. This is what we do at this level. Instead of me saying this is the psychological thing and you take this and study it. My personal belief is this: we have one major news organization, Fox, that is putting out information specifically directed not at his supporters but at him and his administration. If you read this would read like almost his personal Twitter or Facebook feed. And then you have another one talking to the people who don't like him. And they're willing to, and they're so psychologically screwed up right now after the last 2 years, that they're willing to believe anything. You could say this guy was a reptilian and they'd believe it. You could say this guy was an invader from another planet sent here to destroy the earth. And these people, because of their psychosis, would believe it. So we have two groups of people now that are completely psychologically divorced from reality because of the psychological operations in play. Sorry about this. Just wanted to close out a window or two, but this is where we're at right now, and it's very, very tough doing the training because I wish I could take the trainees, the people that are at the $5 and $10 and $15 a month level, and put them someplace where they weren't exposed to MSM so that they could get the training first and get it down first, the availability heuristic and all the different biases, and understand it and get a concept of it prior to being exposed to it, because it's skewing the training. And that's a problem I'm having now. Trying to do training in a way that's going to not only mitigate the effects of the MSM, but then also get it to stick so that people can understand it. I'm getting questions that are couched in a lot of these psychoses. And I have to begin by saying, okay, well, your question assumes this and that and the other first. And so when you take away those assumptions, your question goes away. So that's where we're at. Roundtable Maquis Masters, thank you very, very much for the support. I appreciate it more than you know. It gives me the ability to do a lot of things I wouldn't normally be able to do. I'm going to continue to try to do my very best to put the training out in a way that's a benefit to everyone. If you have any questions, I know I don't respond a lot on Patreon. It's not because I don't care, guys. It's just because I have a lot going on in my life, and doing 1 to 2 videos a day on YouTube, and then 7 days a week, and then 5 videos a day here is a lot of content. and it's very, very hard to do to keep up. But the channel has grown, and it's continuing to grow. And as this continues to progress, I'm going to be able to dedicate a lot more time to it and you guys. But thank you again, humbly. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Thanks.